IMSA President John Doonan, young Jedi reporter Jonathan Grace. We are sitting in just the most beloved of spaces, Daytona International Speedway, this cathedral stadium seating here. We're here for the Roar Before the 24. This is when we do your traditional annual John Doonan's kind of state of the series. Not doing a walk and talk, we're doing a sit and yap, I guess, but you wanted to be here so folks could see that while these stands are empty at the moment, they're going to be full here in just a week's time. Also, grid full, 60 cars across 4 classes. WeatherTech Championship. There's health and vibrancy coming into 2026. Be it the fans that'll be here, the cars that are here. Comes to mind, El Presidente.
Welcome back, guys.
Good to be here.
Thrilled to have you both back. And when I looked out of the office this morning and saw the parking lot full on the team side, you know, sun wasn't up yet, but I'm so happy that everyone's back. And, you know, everyone's saying welcome back and we're back, but candidly, we've never left. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to do this up here to start the season is since the checkered flag at Motul Petit Le Mans, since being here 60 days ago for the November test, the IMSA championships, and I say championships because, as you know, we sanction 10 different platforms. We haven't left, and we want to continue to provide content on track for the audience that comes. There's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands here. We want to provide content for those watching on NBC Sports, like we did the preseason show back on January 4th. And we want to provide content to the growing number of fans on our social channels. And we are now on reach to be at 1.4 million YouTube subscribers. And I think it was Road America when we hit 1 million. We were all doing a happy dance.
Getting close to being P1.
We are
in North America.
Our
here
NASCAR colleagues are leading the way, and we're drafting them.
It's a friendly competition, though.
It sure is.
And it's lifting everything.
It is lifting the whole sport, and they're going to have the Great American Race here, the Daytona 500, in I think about 30 days, and we want to kick it off with the 64th running of the Rolex 24 in record style. And I can allow my teammate across the street, Frank Kelleher, the president of Daytona International Speedway, to give the official numbers, but I can tell you, heading into next week, we are ahead of 2024, which was the all-time record in terms of attendance. So I wanted to be up here because you're right. For years, we've been coming here for years, you and I, Marshall. Jonathan, I think, was just 23, maybe your first one. But there will be fans up here. It will be packed. And, you know, we didn't have to go into the archives of NASCAR to show a full grandstand. It's real. And I'm so happy for our sport and all that are participating, but mainly I'm happy for the fans that are coming out in record numbers.
So Jonathan got his start reporting in a lot of those developmental classes that IMSA sanctions, Michelin Pilot Challenge, Whelen MX-5 Cup, great partners there. Michelin involves so many great partners, but whether it's the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, Ford Mustang, like we could spend a lot of time just naming, right? But those classes as well, of which there are many who are part of this weekend, they're thriving. Their numbers are up as well. Knowing that Jonathan got his start, so many of the 60 who will be racing here in the Rolex 24 came out of those developmental series. Tell us about that, because we're seeing the vibrancy. This is really, it's our college ball, and they're trying to get up here to the big leagues.
Yeah, you know, my previous life, we were all about a driver development system, and it was called the Road to 24, and I think IMSA has that very organically. There's going to be 40 Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup cars here with a bunch of hungry drivers that want to be on the grid, like Robbie Foley or Patrick Gallagher or Stephen McAleer or Connor Zilic.
Going for the overall win in GTP.
Correct, but those 40 drivers in the MX-5 Cup cars this weekend are putting their stake in the ground to say, I want a career in sports car racing. There are 51 cars in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge race to kick off the season. there are a bunch of hungry drivers there. But I think the other thing that's happening is engineers, technicians, mechanics on the race cars, PR professionals, folks that are leading hospitality efforts. That's what makes me so proud. Is it's been a community lift for everyone to have that chance. And you're right, Ford Mustang Challenge, Lamborghini Super Trofeo, Porsche Carrera Cup North America, Ferrari Challenge. Those single make platforms are the launch pad for careers, obviously behind the wheel, but in many other areas of the sport.
Well, I think one of the big trends we've seen at IMSA over the last couple of years is a humongous influx of manufacturer involvement with the LMDH and LMH regulations coming in. We saw an initial surge, but it hasn't really slowed down. No. There's been a ton on the global stage, and we're getting to see, I think, the best example of it here in IMSA with the amount of manufacturers on the WeatherTech grid. All the single make championships are a testament to it, but let's talk GTP here and really just the WeatherTech championship. Ford had a humongous week. You were there in Detroit. Tell us about some of the things you saw there, and then we'll get to McLaren in just a second.
Yeah, there's a certain element of something in the air, and you're right. I was in Detroit the last couple days for many meetings, and Ford had their 26 season launch, of course, announced that Rocky and Seb and Logan are going to be driving and helping develop their GTP car, which we're excited about, and that continues to build momentum. The auto industry, of course, faces lots of challenges, and for a variety of reasons. Ended 25 and percentages up over 24, but we want to be the place for these automakers to launch cars, not just race cars, road cars. We want to be the place for these automakers to prove their powertrains, to prove their vehicle platforms, and that part of why we're doing this is so rich right now. You mentioned 18, of course 19, Genesis has announced their intention to come, so we'll have the Genesis brand here. McLaren is back in GT racing. Again, there's a moment in the air that, again, you and I have been around this for decades. We're going to celebrate it with the IMSA Classic cars. Jonathan, you were here early part of November with the IMSA Classic 24. We want to talk about how we got here with all that history, and then we're going to continue to try to move the ball forward for the auto industry and the technology and innovation space.
Tell us about the conversations with your friend Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, Zach Brown, who will be here racing in the HSR event, by the way. Between Ford, between McLaren, we know that they've chosen to start their new prototype programs on the international stage, obviously hoping to get them here in IMSA and GTP very, very soon, hopefully before the end of the decade. You're always in conversations with others. I keep trying to get you to spill the secrets. He won't do it, but we're selfish. We want to put on the best show for us. Go and see some international racing. Love that. No issues there, but we want everything here too. Tell us about those conversations. Are they receptive to that idea?
Yeah, they are, and I was with Mr. Farley and it was texting with Zach. Those two were texting back and forth last night. They're both coming to run historic cars. Zach will have the Jaguar XJR10.
They're competing in the HSR.
They are. So I think they're probably talking a bit of smack. But you know, Jim Farley said on stage last night, Bill Ford said on stage last night, Will Ford said, we are, you know, America's car company. They mentioned that. We are the biggest international series in North America. And what I mean by that is we have all these brands from all over the world. The North American market is incredibly important. They've all said it is the most important market for them in the auto industry from a growth standpoint, from a volume of sales standpoint. And so we believe this platform is the best place for them to be, to activate. The midway is going to be jam-packed with vehicle displays and ride and drives out front for consumers.
The mobile car shows, you call it.
Yes, and over the last 5 or 6 years, the number of unveils of road cars that have happened either on the midway or in a hospitality unit or on pit lane has continued to be part of the thread of what we're doing here. We continue to talk with those manufacturers, Genesis, McLaren, and Ford, about their launch into IMSA with their GTP cars. we're ready. We're ready for them to be on track, but we're ready for them to talk about their marketing efforts around it, and we continue to see that grow.
I think one of the unique things about this year, and we saw a little bit of this last year too, with the involvement of HSR, is if you're a fan coming to this race, I don't know where else you can get two heads of some of the biggest car brands, some of those popular car brands in the world, fight each other on track, literally in their historic cars, and then watch their respective manufacturers go to battle in some of the most technologically advanced race cars on the planet. I don't really know anywhere else you can get both, and you get it for 24 hours, which is pretty great. And selfishly, this is great for us. We get to be here for 2 whole weeks.
Yeah, I mean, IMSA has a rich history. It started in 1969. And as we approached the concept of adding HSR to the IMSA portfolio, the idea was, how did we get here? You know, how did we get to today? And I think for a fan coming to the blue garages on the west end of the garage area, they're going to see that. They're going to see some of the technology, certainly the vehicles themselves, but you know, how did we get to today with GTP? How did we get to today with GT? That's really important. And then once they head on down to the yellow garages, they realize the advancements and how complicated the cars are from a technological standpoint, how innovative they are from an aerodynamic standpoint, and the list goes on of how you can have both ends of the spectrum, celebrate the past, but show the promise of the future.
I want to close on this, John. So throughout the industry, the things that I hear, because I work in multiple paddocks, have for a long time, so many folks, whether they're in charge of other racing series, manufacturers, major racing teams, they all speak very glowingly of you, appreciative of you. You're kind, you're considerate, you care, you're asking, trying to find out what they need. That's great. That's Santa Claus. I don't think folks fully appreciate you are a damn hardcore competitor. And whether it was with Mazda leading their motorsports program, being the little engine that could to take on big manufacturers, and even if it took you years to get there, you were determined to knock them down. I guess the message I'm sending, don't let that smile fool you. This guy is an assassin, but for his tribe, for IMSA, for NASCAR, HSR, all the support series we mentioned. This is someone who fights constantly to level IMSA up. I just think it's important for folks to know, very nice, very kind, Uncle John. Can you just speak to that a little bit? And I know it's awkward to speak kindly of yourself, but I want folks to know you aren't rolling in as the president at 9 a.m., full night of sleep, fully rested, folks laying out the red carpet. You're the first one here. You're welcoming your staff at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. You're in the office till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Tell us about the place that comes from.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. This morning, after we got back quite late last night from being at the Detroit Auto Show, which, by the way, there was a ton of IMSA cars on display there, which made me so proud. The Wheeling Cadillac, GTP car, the Porsche 963 from Porsche Penske was there. But when the alarm went off this morning,
what time?
It went off really early, like 4:45, because I had a conference call with Europe. But I remember back to when my dad was racing, and it was time to go to Blackhawk Farms, or sort of my personal spiritual home, Road America. I was sitting on the couch with my backpack on, with my clipboard, my stopwatch, my ear protectors, ready to go to the racetrack. Dad had been up all night working on the race car, but I had that feeling again this morning. And I've told my wife, if I ever stop having that feeling, it's time for me to go do something else. But that feeling is what drives me. Not for me personally, but for this sport. I love sports car racing. I love all of motorsport, but I love sports car racing. And and I say we collectively, you all, other members of the media, all the partners, and I believe I have best professional staff in all of motorsports. These folks are dedicating their lives to this lifestyle. We have grown this sport together. You talk about the audience size, you talk about the grid size, you talk about the number of people that are going to be here on site camping and doing the grid walk a week and a day from now. the campers. It's really gratifying to know that all of the effort that we've put in together, and I'll raise my hand, it's been a lot of hours, but with all the purpose of trying to add value for the OEMs that are competing, provide a platform for the teams to operate solid businesses, and in the end, give the fans that'll be sitting here 1 week from today the best show they could ever imagine, while the auto industry performs right in front of them on stage. And for me, the excitement of getting off the couch to come in as a little boy, and the excitement to drive out of here at night knowing that we delivered the best possible product that we ever could.
Watch us this season on NBC and Peacock. Be sure to subscribe to IMSA on YouTube, and if you're interested in digital activation in motorsports, visit IMSA.com/partnership.